son couldn't stand me and used to be afraid. Now we're best friends. I used to think love between a parent and a child was automatic, like sunrise. If you gave warmth, you got warmth back. That belief cracked the year my son turned 8. I could not stand near him without a storm starting. Small hands became claws, teeth flashed, and I learned to keep bandages in the kitchen drawer. We tried everything the books and doctors said. Hugs, charts, timeouts, long talks, short rules, medicine, no medicine. Nothing held. One Thursday, I watched a movie where a boy and his dad had one last day on the beach. The screen showed easy laughter and soft waves, and I sat there shaking because my boy only spoke to me with hits and bites. That night, I cried until the pillow was heavy, and I told myself to let go of the picture in my head, the one where he runs into my arms. We hunted for answers with new doctors and new forms. The papers called it severe ADHD. Then more testing said mild autism too, with high anxiety and low mood layered on top like heavy blankets. Some traits didn't match the lists. He loved people and chased friends on the playground, yet at home, he came at me like I was a locked door. I kept asking why it was me. The clue hid in our start. Back in kindergarten, he was falling behind. He came home buzzing with fear, knocking things over, ripping paper, dumping bins like a tiny storm. I tried gentle words, and he blew past them. I tried rules, and he laughed through them. The only thing that stopped him was my loud, sharp voice. One hard, booming stop. It worked, so I used it. I did not see the trade I was making. My voice became the bell that rang his worry. Worry grew into dread. Dread learned my footsteps. By second grade, dread hardened into a knot he wore like armor only when I was near. Once I understood, I changed the one thing I could control, me. I stepped back. For weeks, I let space cool the floor between us. When he lunged, I didn't shove him off or bark orders. I kept my hands open and my mouth soft, and my wife did the correcting while I stood there breathing slow like a metronome. Then I started going to his room on purpose. I knew what would happen, so I put on a winter coat and gloves like a silly knight and knocked. He kicked, scratched, and I folded his arms gently, held him still, and spoke low. I told him what I had done wrong, how I had used fear to stop chaos, how I never wanted to be scary, only safe. I did this again and again. Nights blurred together. He stared at the wall, jaw tight, saying nothing. I kept showing up. I told him 3 sentences each time, the same way you knock on a stuck door. I love you. I will always love you, and I am proud of the kid you are. The first night he cried and told me to shut up. The second week he cried and didn't tell me to stop. The third week he let his head rest on my sleeve like a tired bird. Slow changes began to stack. He no longer attacked the second I walked in. In public, he stood beside me without flinching. At home, he still asked for space after I came back from work, so I gave it. 10 minutes on the clock and then a soft check-in. We made a ritual and gave it a name. Daddy therapy time. I would say, let's talk, and he would lie straight like a pencil on his bed, head hanging a little over the edge, which somehow helped him settle. I pressed my hands across his shoulders like a blanket and told him what went wrong and what to try next time. One clear step at a time. He could hear it this way. Any other way bounced off. The house started to look like a house again, not a battle site. We patched holes, repainted, and put up the drawings we had taken down. At school, he made a paper of things I love, and for the first time, he cut out 2 figures and labeled them Mom and Dad. I stood in the hallway holding that paper like a winning ticket. We kept stacking small wins. He and I joined a scout group together, just us two. We learned knots on a picnic table and burned a marshmallow